The newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro, bringing you the biggest headlines from around the world. The U.S. Supreme Court keeps on hold the limits set by lower courts on access to abortion pill mifepristone. The decision gives the justices more time to consider requests by the Biden administration and the pill's manufacturer. They seek to block an April 17 preliminary injunction issued by a district judge in Texas, which limits the availability of the drug. Among the limitations set is that patients who want to abuse the abortion pill need to make 3 in-person visits with a doctor. Anti-abortion doctors and medical groups are defending the ruling and called on the Supreme Court to restrict access now. The justices are scheduled to meet for a private conference on Friday, where they are expected to talk about the issue. The 84-year-old white man charged in the shooting and wounding of a black teenager in Kansas City pleaded not guilty to felony charges. The suspect, Andrew Lester, allegedly shot the teenager Ralph Yarl after he mistakenly walked up to the old man's house intending to pick up his younger siblings. Andrew Lester would face a maximum sentence of life in prison if convicted of first-degree assault. He also was charged with armed criminal action, punishable by up to 15 years in prison. Lester entered not guilty pleas to both counts during a brief arraignment in a Clay County courtroom. The suspect surrendered to police earlier this week, but was subsequently released on a $200,000 bond. 3 teenagers from Alabama were taken into custody following a shooting at a Sweet 16 birthday party. Local authorities say the suspects were charged with 4 counts of reckless murder. This after the Sweet 16 shooting last week left 4 dead and 32 wounded. 9 of the wounded are still in the hospital, with 5 in critical condition. Authorities also reported that all 4 victims who died in the shooting were high school seniors, and among them, the birthday celebrant's brother.
It's Lexi's 16th birthday party, Sweet 16. There's an uncut cake and unburnt 16 candles that never got lit. Lexi's brother was one of the victims. On her 16th birthday party, she'd been up by her brother as he took his last breath. That's what we're dealing with here. Those are what these victims went through.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now World. I'm Diego Castro. A warning to our viewers who may find the details of the following story upsetting. An acrobat fell to her death during an aerial skills performance in China, together with her husband. Online footage showed the trapeze artist holding on to her husband, who had his arms wrapped around two pieces of hanging fabric during a mid-air routine. According to a CNN report, upon swinging in mid-air, the woman lost her grip and plunged to the stage, shocking the audience and social media. Users questioned the absence of safety belts, safety nets, and a crash mat, while others called for stricter regulations and better protection in the industry. India is on its way to becoming the world's most populous nation. The United Nations Population Fund estimates India's population at over 1.4 billion this year. It is expected to surpass China with almost 3 million more people. Although both will account for more than a third of the global population growth has been slowing. The US comes at a distant third with an estimated population of 340 million. A UN survey found the most commonly held opinion was that the population was too large and fertility rates were too high.
Some vision, some planning, focus on the right things and prioritizing with the vision is what India must move forward and the direction, because if we don't, then we could have troubled times, if not in the short run, definitely in the long run.
The first movie filmed partly in space will be released in Russian cinemas starting today. Let's get more details on this historic movie in this report.
Cinemas across Russia are set to screen the first movie in history that was filmed partly in space. The challenge, produced by Russian state TV Channel 1 and Federal Space Agency Roscosmos, partly takes place on the International Space Station, or ISS. The action involves a surgeon, played by 37-year-old actor Yulia Peresild, who rushes to the space station hoping to save a crew member who needs an urgent operation. Filming took place on board the ISS between October 5 to 17 in 2021, with Peresild and director Klim Shipenko traveling into space to join the ISS team. Preparations for filming started in autumn 2020 when Channel 1 announced a competition for the lead role. 25 finalists then had to go through rigorous medical tests and examinations to prove they were fit to fly into space.
Я каждый день прохожу кастинги, так или иначе, езжу на пробы, приезжаю, даже в театре нации, в котором я работаю, вся система построена на том, что приезжает режиссер и делает кастинг. Включал в себя гастроскопию и колоноскопию и проверки, понимаете, ровности носовой перегородки, а также количество МРТ, КТ и каких-то анализов. Я даже не знаю, не анализов, а целых манипуляций, которые с нами делали там в Волынской больнице. Такого кастинга, конечно, в моей жизни еще не было.
Before the team got the go-ahead to board the shuttle, they had to complete a grueling 3-month training program at the Yuri Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center. They studied the design and equipment of the ISS and the Soyuz MS spacecraft, passed tests in both a centrifuge and a pressure chamber, learned how to send SOS signals using solar sensors, and were taught how to cope in emergency situations. On the ISS, each crew member can take no more than 1 kilogram of personal belongings. For Peresild, this meant packing rubber bands to control her hair in zero gravity. 38-year-old director Klim Shipenko, who has made several commercially successful movies, including Russian space movies Salyut 7, said that he couldn't stop filming once on board the ISS.
Даже больше запланированного, именно потому что я не мог остановиться, и даже когда вроде бы уже время на отдых, я все равно летал с камерой и смотрел в иллюминатор и понимал, что это так красиво, надо это обязательно снять. И я не мог расстаться с камерой, и постоянно искал, что же еще тут такого снять, чтобы дополнить зрителю, дать еще 150% космоса, а не 100%.
First screenings of the challenge will run overnight from April 19 to 20. Arian Kalumbiran, we are One News.
And those are the top world headlines of the hour. Join us again at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. Coming right up is Agenda at 8 a.m. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News, all sides, all the time.